What is going on, guys? It's me, adamdoesttv, and today I'm going to be picking my who I think is the best player at each Premier League club. Some of them you may agree with, some of them could be controversial, and some of them are just blatantly obvious that it is the best player there. So let's get to it, and if we can hit 5 likes on this video, that'd be great. And if you don't mind subscribing, it's free. You can always unsubscribe if you want to, but I'd appreciate it if you could. So yeah, let's start off with the first one, which is Arsenal. With Arsenal, it's just clear and obvious who it is. It's Aubameyang. He's the best player. He's the goal scorer. He's the man that they need to get the ball to score goals. Next up, we've got Aston Villa, and this was a tricky one for me because I was debating whether it would be either John McGinn or Grealish, of course, because I feel like John McGinn would have done great last season if he didn't get his injury, and the injury kind of like stopped him from doing well and showing his potential. But Grealish he just is the best player there, and I'm going to have to say Grealish because of how well he performed last season. Next up is Brighton, and I have gone for Lewis Dunk. I just feel like his defensive work in that team is great. He can win balls, he can win headers in the opposition box. I'm not sure how many goals he scored, but I'm sure he scored a few. But yeah, an all-round great defender, and I think he's the best player at Brighton. It is between him and Morpay, but I've gone for Dunk. Next up is Burnley, and for me this is quite straightforward. I've gone for Nick Pope. I just feel like he's the best player there for me. Could be wrong, but yeah, no real reason, just that he's a class goalkeeper, and I think he did great last season. I'm kind of basing it off last season and the start of this season, so yeah. And for Chelsea, this one's a difficult one. It's between 2 players for me. I know they brought in Ziyech, Werner, all that lot, but it's between Pulisic and Kovacic for me. I just feel like they're both great players. I think Kovacic is still there, but I think he was their best player, or one of their best players last season. So I think I'd say him. But Pulisic is a great forward, and I think if I make this video again next season, like the start of next season, he will definitely be that player once he comes back from injury. But yeah, that's who I'm going for here for. Crystal Palace, again, this is straightforward for me. I'm just going to go for Wilfried Zaha. No real reason. I just think he's a great person to get on the ball, great finisher. And yeah, for Everton, again, I know Rodriguez looked good in the first 2 games, but I'm going to have to give it to Digne. I just feel like, to me, he's their best player. He can just create chances with that left foot and just get the perfect pass off to the attackers and help them score goals. So yeah, pretty straightforward. For Fulham, I don't really know much about Fulham, so I don't know who's good and who's bad, but I've gone for the player that I do know, which is Mitrovic, and I just feel like he's their best player to me. And next is Leeds. With Leeds, I don't know much about the players, but I do know one player, which is Calvin Phillips, so I want to say he's the best. But of course, they're from, what's that guy's name? Hold on. Bamford, of course, he probably is going to do well. And obviously they brought in that Rodrigo, maybe he'll do well. But yeah, I'm going for Phillips just because I've only ever watched him play. I watched some of the Leeds games, but not enough to see who's the best. And I could look at stats, but this is just a quick video, and yeah, don't take my opinion to heart, Leeds fans. So you'll be okay. So next up is Leicester, and for Leicester, it's between I think Solanke is great as well. like as a centre back. I think Vardy's also great, and their right back Ricardo. So it's difficult for me, but I'm just gonna go for Vardy just because obviously goal and a boot winner, and I just feel like he's the best there. Liverpool is quite a difficult one because they just have probably the best team in Europe, and it's just hard to choose one player. But I'm just gonna go for Mane. I just feel like he's the best player there. I know Salah's great. Firmino is not the best for me. I'm not a fan of him. But their midfield is great. Their defense is great. Their goalkeeper's great. But Mane just hits different, you know. For Man City, it's easy for me. Kevin De Bruyne. No, I don't need to explain my reason why, because it's just obvious that he is the best there. Man United, again, Bruno Fernandes came in, made an impact, but I don't know if I'd class him as the best player there. But yet again, if they're not a great side like now, and it's hard to tell which player's the best. But I'm just gonna have to say Bruno Fernandes just because the impact that he made. I know he scored a lot of penalties, but I'm gonna say the impact that he made for the club as soon as he came in. Or Newcastle. Newcastle. I know everyone's expecting me to say Maximum, but no. I'm going for the boy, John Joe Shelby. I love that bald man. I'm not a Newcastle fan, I just like Shelby. He's just bald, and I can appreciate the baldness. And yeah, he's underrated, I think. No one appreciates the balls that he can make. Like, he can hit a ball and it can just fly in. And no, it goes unrecognised, really. I think, for me, I know I should have said St. Maximin, but I'm going for John Joe Shelby, the bald bloke. Sheffield United. Again, I don't know much about this team. Of course I watched them play last season and they look great, but it's hard for me to say who was their best player. Like, I'm going to say Dean Henderson for last season, but they haven't had a great start to the season, so I can't really choose who's their best player. Yeah, I don't know. I can't really choose. It's a hard choice. But I'm just going to stick with Henderson for now. And yeah, I can't really think. Southampton. I'm just going to go for Danny Ings. He's a goal machine. He'll score goals. And no one's going to stop him. Like, he scored 2 against Tottenham yesterday. But again, didn't really mean anything. Southampton aren't doing great. So maybe he'll move on. Who knows? Maybe we'll come to Spurs. Okay, next up is Tottenham. And the obvious one is Harry Kane. But I'm going to say Harry Kane now, just because he's the best striker in the league for me. And I'm not saying that because I'm a Tottenham fan. I just feel like his passing goes like under the radar. No one talks about his passes as much as they should. And his finishing is just... If you want a guy to finish a ball, he's a man for it. Like, no one can disagree with me. West Brom. I want to go for Pereira, just because I know he did amazing last season in Championship, and he started off well in this season. He's got that amazing free kick against Everton, and I feel like he's just going to be the best player. It'll be either him or Dean Garner, so it'll be one of them. West Ham. Now, who is their best player? Jesus Christ. This is a tricky one because they're all quite shocking recently. People think they're going to go down. But for me, their best player is probably... I want to say Declan Rice. Just because he's a CDM and he can hold that midfield well. Like, he's that shield in front of the defence that they can rely on, and I think he's the one that's only performing well for them. Of course, for some reason, ever since he scored that long shot, he thinks he can shoot from anywhere and it'll go in, but I don't know why he does that, because every shot just goes whoop, up and over. And finally, Wolves. No, Wolves. Of course, they just lost Jota, I don't know how to say his name, to Liverpool, but he wasn't their best player. But it's between, I think, for me, it's going to be Jimenez. He can hit a ball no matter where it's from, and he's just that guy that can, like, his link up with Adam is just too good, and they work well as a duo, and I think they're a great pairing. So I'd say Raul Jimenez is the best for me. So there we have it. There is my Premier League best players, in my opinion, from last season and the start of this season. So yeah, again, can we please hit 5 likes? If you can subscribe, that would be amazing. Again, it's for free and you don't have to keep the subscription. You can just unsubscribe if my content is shite, and I understand if it is, because it's all edited on my phone and I can't do much right now. So, but if we can get 5 likes, I'll do another one of these sometime. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. Have an amazing day. Stay safe from this coronavirus, and yeah, I'll see you in the next video.